Good afternoon, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for choosing to be in today's Leaders Debate. I just want to call this meeting to order. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome so much. Thank you so much for choosing to be here. We'd like to start this debate right away. My name is Aaron Kituku. I'm the current news manager, Shine FM, and also the managing editor, Involvement Newspaper. And I'm going to be today's event mover. So because of time, we want to start right away. I just want to call Esther Naini. She's going to be opening with a word of prayer. And then from there, we're going to have the national anthem and the Daystar school anthem. Esther Naini, if you can hear my voice, kindly walk to the stage and open with a word of prayer. And as she comes, after the prayer, immediately we're going to have the national anthem and also the school anthem.
Let's bow down for a word of prayer. Father, in the mighty name of Jesus, we come before you.
And the school anthem.
O God of all creation, bless this our nation. Justice be our shield and defender. May we dwell in unity, peace and liberty. Plenty be found within our borders. Let one and all arise. With hearts strong and true. Service be our earnest endeavor. And the homeland of Kenya, heritage of splendor, firm may we stand to defend. Let all with one accord, in concord united, build this our nation together, and the glory of Kenya, the fruit of our labor, fill every heart with thanksgiving. With a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto he do well that he take it. We are bound as one, as the Daystar family. We shall shine together in love and unity as stars and servant leaders. We shall teach the world as the Daystar family, soldiering on with Christ the King. Arise and shine until the day dawn rise, until the Daystar arise, arise in your hearts. Let every dawn of morning be to you as the beginning of life. Every setting sun before you as is close. We shall shine together in peace and liberty, like stars and servant leaders. We shall face the beauty of the Daystar family, soaring on with Christ the King.
Can be seated. Thank you. Once again, I want to say thank you for everyone creating the time to be here. And just to give you the reason why we are here for the leaders' debate. We're not calling it the presidential debate for some obvious reasons, because we're going to be taking every member of the council, some members of the council, through some questioning. So that's why it's called Leaders Debate, Daystar University Leaders Debate. And while we are here, it's a public debate held during a general election campaign, and where the candidates expose their political opinions and public policy proposals. And they do this before the potential voters. And of course, we're going to be getting some criticism on the same. We also have this held in the election cycle, so we are very timely in terms of the election cycle, and after the political parties have nominated their candidates. So everyone that is going to be taking part in this nomination, or this debate rather, has gone through the nomination. Before I speak further, I would like to call Neema Olo. She's going to be reading the rules, because we need to get that streamlined, and then from there we shall proceed. Karibu Neema. Appreciate her as she comes.
Good afternoon. I will present the rules for the debate. 1, surrogates will not be allowed to participate in the debate in place of a candidate. 2, no placards, posters, stickers, or other such campaign materials may be displayed by the candidates during the debate. No outside food or drink is permitted. The candidate may not have access to any person during the debate other than the moderators, and in case of any emergency, a member of the production crew or staff. Candidates may not use any type of technology during the debate. The debate will include questions from a primary moderator and questions from a physical and online audience. The moderator will determine which questions are asked, by whom, and when during the debate. Time limits on statements, answers, rebuttals, and responses will be enforced by the moderator during the debate. The moderator may interrupt any candidate if the moderator believes the candidate is straying from the subject matter. The candidates may not interrupt one another. It is the moderator's responsibility and discretion, not the candidates, to enforce this rule. For the physical audience, kindly adhere to 2 minutes for all your questions, and kindly allow the sound technician to hold for you the microphone. Failure to adhere to the stipulated time will necessitate for your microphone to be switched off. No participant in the debate, either candidates or questioners, may be allowed to use props or visuals of any kind. No participant in the debate may touch any other participants during the debate. Candidates and the moderator will remain in their designated positions for the duration of the debate. Candidates may refer to limited notes. Candidates, moderators, and questioners may write notes for their use throughout the program. The audience should not jeer, cheer, or boo unless when welcoming aspirants. Failure to adhere to stipulated rules will necessitate disqualification of a candidate. And finally, failure to adhere to stipulated rules by you, our audience, will have you kicked out of the room. Thank you.
Thank you, Neema Olo. I hope that is very clear. Straight into the program, I just want to introduce a few people or key players in this debate. First, starting with the ECD team, that is Electoral Commission of Daystar University. Ken Antru, the chairperson. Because of time, I won't request you to say anything or wave. We have Immaculate Chebet, who is the vice chairperson. Angela Mwangi, communications officer. Peter Sidika, who is the CEO, ECD. Michael Odula, who is the treasurer. Leon Malava, who is a commissioner. Brenda Mbaya, who is also a commissioner. Josephine Ochieng, who is also a commissioner in the ECD. We have delegates. We have Biu Bedi, Georgina Waturi, Natalia Ndungu, Kathleen Njema, and those are the delegates that are represented here or that showed up to this debate. ECD clerks are also here. I want to recognize them, and that is very important. We appreciate what you've done. The moderators, we have two moderators for the day, starting with my extreme right, that is Evelyn Kyoko. She's the current editor-in-chief, Involvement newspaper. She's a fourth-year student who is doing print as a major. She's a creative. She loves poetry and theater. That is Evelyn Siombua Kyoko. Chris Waweru is currently serves as the Chief Operations Officer for the Winsense company, as well as the station manager for Shine FM, Daystar University. He's also a decisive action-oriented leader who is results-oriented, and he has some history in leadership, management, and environmental conservation. Chris has led his team to advocate for environmental sustainability whilst providing different opportunities for growth for both students and companies, and in the first recipient of Daystar University's Star Environment Champion of the Year Award. That is their profile, and right now I want to welcome them, and they're going to give us the next direction. Just before that, I want to request all the governor aspirants to take their seats on stage. If you are an aspirant for governorship in this university, kindly take the stage. We're going to start the debate with the aspirants who are going to be aspiring to go to that seat of the governor. From now, the moderators are going to give us further instructions, and let's kindly adhere to the rules once again. Karibu.
Good afternoon. Here are the timings for the candidates. Each candidate has 2 minutes and 5 seconds to answer the questions and to present their ideas. 15 minutes to each section, that is to each slot, from the presidential aspirants to the ISADO presidential aspirants. 5 questions will be allowed from the audience after each slot or after each aspirant's debate. Thank you.
Good afternoon. As you've heard, my name is Waweru Chris Avram. I'd like to kick the debate into motion, so I'd request Michael Kipto, please step forward. So Michael Kipto, in 30 seconds or less, please tell us about yourself.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Michael Kipto, the former student leader, School of Science, Health and Engineering, and also the Deputy Speaker of the House. And yes, thank you.
All right, thank you. Please step forward as well. Same question, in 30 seconds or less, please tell us about yourself.
My name is Newton Ngige. I'm a student and events manager DC3. I'm a student from Valley Road campus. Thank you.
My name is Seth Barasa. I'm a student of nursing at Daystar River, an aspirant in governance.
Good afternoon. I'm Timothy Michubu, a student in Daystar, taking computer science. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Edgar Were, governor aspirant. I'm in the School of Science. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Maxwell Ndege. I'm a gubernatorial aspirant at Student School of Law. I am a charismatic leader, a team player. Be blessed.
All right, so for the next part of the debate, I'll request 2 of you to be upstanding, so please take both stands. Please make sure the mic is close to you so that you're audible. Thank you.
Do you understand your role as stated in the Dusa Constitution? Yes. Please state.
Yes. Yes, thank you very much. My role as the governor Daystar University main campus is to ensure that to champion for the welfare, social welfare of the students in main campus, and also to ensure that to play a role in ensuring that the games in the sports activities in our campus are running smoothly. Yeah.
Right, thank you so much. Same question as well.
Thank you very much. My name is Dusa Debate. Again, my role as governor is to ensure that the student welfare is well checked on and coordinate the co-curricular activities in Valley Road campus.
All right, thank you so much. So as we all understand, this role is very key in running the Dusa Council, right? I'd like to start the question with you. So how will you tackle the issues of transport, housing, food, health, and safety?
Thank you very much. That's a good question. I believe in servant leadership, and I believe as governor, I am just a student's watchman. So what will I do? I'll form committees of students themselves who will assist me to tackle such issues. If it's the issue of transport, I'll have a committee which will ensure that students and the transport timelines and schedules are maintained well. And if clubs want to access such things, I as governor will liaise with the administration to ensure that such acts are maintained well. If it's the issue of food, I'll ensure that I'll have the committee and liaise with them, whom again will be getting the comments from the students themselves, and working with me directly and working with administration, will be able to achieve the goal that is to serve the students and ensure that the welfare is maintained. Thank you.
Question to you as well, Niton. Please give us the timelines that you hope to achieve all this.
I believe that by August, I'll have achieved half, if not 3/4 of my manifesto, and hopefully by December, I'll have achieved my manifesto. And I also believe that once I'm in office, we'll be also talking with the students, because I'll issue out forms where students can suggest things that you can look forward to as a governor to ensure that Valley Road campus is a safe home for our students. Thank you.
How will you ensure that you get support from the school administration in the cases where your opinions and theirs are on different pages?
I believe in protocol and diplomacy. In such a case, I'll ensure that the students understand my points, because I'll be properly stipulating them to them. And if they feel that they are not that good, obviously I'll come and talk to the students, and maybe them themselves can suggest ways and means in which I will be able to talk with the administration so that you can reach the goal of achieving the situation that is supposed to be achieved.
Okay, so last question before we move to Michael Kipto. You're talking about building high-performance teams, right?
Yes.
Could you please tell us the most important principles that you'd follow in governing and leading these teams?
I believe in honesty, humility, and servant leadership. Honesty, whereby everything I do in that governor's office is accounted for and is accountable to the students of Valley Road campus. I believe in humility, because I am not governor. Actually, I'm telling people I'm just a student like any other. I'm just there to lead and show the way and ensure that the student welfare and the co-curricular are achieved. I also believe in servant leadership, whereby I am there to act and to offer service to the students who are my employers. I believe that when you go to our industry, you find your employer and you're an employee. The work of the employee is to work and ensure that the industry is maintained well. So I am there to work with the students and ensure that their welfare is well set on, and that Daystar, Valley Road campus, is a home to the students, and that students feel that they own Valley Road and they are at home once they're in Valley Road campus. Thank you.
One last question. What makes you best fit for this position?
What makes me best fit is that I have the students' agendas at heart, and I'm not there for any selfish ones or myself. I'm there to serve the students and to ensure that students feel that their self-welfare is maintained well.
They all have students' wants at heart.
Pardon?
They all have students' wants at heart.
And they have values.
Pardon?
Values, and they all have students, but I have values, because I'm Newton. I believe I'm humble, I believe I'm a good leader, and I believe that I'll be able to tackle the manifesto at hand.
All right, thank you. You can please take your seat.
Thank you very much.
Michael Kipto, please come to the stand. So I'd like to pose to you the same question as well. So how will you tackle the issues of transport, housing, food, health, and safety?
Okay, thank you. In the office of the governor, we have the committees to deal with the transport, and we also have the health committee. So using those committees, I'll ensure that the issues in those areas are addressed well, because I will be having meetings with them so that I can hear the issues that we are going through, because we must work together as a team. These things, you will not work alone. You have the people to help you in your office. Thank you.
All right. So how do you plan to engage with your committee and the administration to address these issues? Because I can tell you for a fact, we do have those committees,
Okay,
and they have shortcomings. So how are you going to make sure yours succeed?
So we'll have regular meetings with my committees where we'll talk with them and hear the issues that we are going through in the stipulated areas. And after getting those issues, I'll link the issues of the students with the administration. So I'll be addressing the issues of the students in our school to the administration and ensuring that those issues, we have response to the issues that we have been having, yes.
What or who do you consider to be a good leader?
Yes.
What or who do you consider to be a good leader?
Thank you very much. So a good leader is a person who has students' interest at heart, someone who is not driven by self-interest or self-gains, someone who is ready to work for the students anytime, and someone who is humble. Yeah, thank you.
What would cause you to fail as a governor?
Yes.
What would cause you to fail while doing your duties as a governor?
What will cause me to fail is not addressing the issues of the students, just going there to sit in that seat but not doing anything. So I must work to ensure that the issues of the students are addressed.
Okay, please tell us in 30 seconds or less what you'll use to translate your vision for Daystar University into action. Okay.
Personally, I've been a leader in School of Science, Health and Engineering, and this is what I've been doing. Sometimes you might address an issue and you have no response. So if you address an issue to a certain office and you see nothing is being done, then you go to the next office, and by doing so, the issues will be addressed. This is what I've done, and I've seen the results. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. The next candidate.
How are you?
I'm fine.
All right. The role that you're applying for,
yes,
requires you to be very decisive, right?
Yeah.
Kindly give us 1 or 2 examples in the past where you have been decisive and you have made an effect either in the community or the school that you are under.
Okay, I'm from the School of Nursing, and we have been working to form an association of our school. So we are forming an association, and soon we are also going to launch it, and I've been among the steering committee that is forming that association.
What should the Daystar administration do, if anything, to provide an equitable quality education to all?
Okay, the administration, in association with the student leaders, what we have to do is just to negotiate with the administration, to sit down to know, as the student leader, I have ideas that we can come up to discuss with the administration and other leaders, so that we can get to a common interest.
All right, thank you. I'd like to pose to you same question we've asked them. What makes you best fit for this position?
Yeah, I'm very certain that I'm the best for this position because I'm here not for personal interests. I'm here because of the interest of the students, and I'm quite sure that I'm a person who listens to the voices of the students, mm-hmm. and work closely with other leaders for the students.
Okay.
How will you ensure that your needs for the students and your personal interests are not clashing?
Okay, it's just about you plan your schedules, and also as the governor, we get to know that we have committees for the governor, and you need people to help you to work because you cannot work alone. So we can form committees to know how we can get to work for each sector, that, for example, the food and health, the transport system, so that we can have very active committees that can help us. You know, I cannot work alone, that can help me reach the goal.
Speaking of committees, in any instance where you do not agree, what will inform your decision making?
Pardon?
You're speaking of committees, right?
Yes.
So in the instance where you don't agree as a committee, what will inform your decision making?
Okay, we have, the committees comprises of very many people. Yeah, a number of them. So in making a decision, we can come up with a quorum where we can find the best solutions for the problems at hand.
All right, thank you. I'll request the next candidate to be upstanding.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good.
All right. I'd like you to tell us how you'll tackle the issue of healthcare access for all, given the challenges we've had, students having insurance but are not able to access healthcare services. Please let us know how you'll tackle these issues.
So I understand that the health insurance...
Please move closer to the mic.
I understand that the health issue is it's the HR who is in charge of it. So it is as soon as the students pay for their fees, when the semester is starting, they are supposed to be cleared in all the areas that they have paid for, and the HR should send emails early enough so that when you go to get that health service at Radiant, to be specific, you don't have to be told, and it's something that is urgent, that you are told, go, let me send an email to the HR so that you can seek for treatment, and maybe at that time, you have no money to pay for the service by yourself. So it's something that should be addressed immediately after the students have reported in school, and everything that you're supposed to clear with the finance has been done.
So how do you plan on addressing it? Because what you're speaking about has been done before. So what's going to be different with your administration?
So enforce that to the HR so that he or she does it early enough and in time so that there are no issues from the students when they go to seek medical care there.
Okay, in a minute or less, please let us know how you'll empower clubs and associations.
So clubs and associations are a number of them here. Others have been registered recently, and that is a plea that some of the clubs and associations are not given a budget to run through the activities. For example, a new art club was started recently. It should be given a certain budget to get the equipment, maybe the writing, the boards to be used for the drawing and everything. And other clubs also and associations have budget that is limiting them to do some things that they are supposed to be executing in regard to the activities that they are involved in.
What do you understand by the role that is disputed in the Constitution, that the campus secretary is in charge of campus social welfare? What do you understand by that?
Okay, when it comes to social welfare, it entails everything that is directly affecting the students in the school. So, for instance, the social welfare deals with cases as the food, it deals with the sanitation, the cleaning of the toilets, the maintenance of the hostels, and such things. So, for the cases of maybe the sanitations, there are some complaints from the students. There are some sanitations that are not up to standard, and they're not hygienic for them. For the sake of the food also, complaints arise about the meals that are given there, the change of the menus, and that's not in regard to what the students require.
There have been cases of 2 missing students who are yet to be found. How do you presume you'll be able to handle that?
So that's something that should not be kept quiet at, and the administration itself being the one that is in charge of, that is supposed to take matters at hand, it should follow up with the loss of those 2 students from the government, and always check for feedbacks on how things are going outside there, other than keeping quiet at it, because it's something that is bound to happen another time.
All right, please tell us why you are best fit for this position.
So first, leadership is a calling, and for you to have applied for this position, it doesn't mean that you're starting your leadership skills at this time. It means maybe you have been in a leadership roles before, and you have acquired some skills in your previous leadership skills, leadership roles, I mean. So I feel fit for the task. I've acquired enough skills, communication skills. I've acquired other skills that are of important to run and to take the tasks of this seat as the campus governor.
All right, thank you. I'll request the next candidate to be upstanding.
If elected, what do you as a leader bring to this position that will help to promote growth in students around you?
Pardon?
If elected, what do you as a leader bring to this position that will help to promote growth in students around you?
If elected here, one thing I can say is that the students out here are suffering, especially in terms of finance. So if elected, what I'd want to concentrate on most that will empower the students is mostly on the financial part, especially on issues of school fees, high prices of items, and people missing exams because of low rates of school fees, as low as 700, 500. So what I do to help others who are my fellow students is to chip in the financial part and help them, because that is the part that's affecting most people here in school. Yeah.
Please mention to us the policies or reforms that you'll undertake to promote student entrepreneurship.
Student entrepreneurship is a very important part of the school, especially the students. I myself am passionate about entrepreneurship because I'm an entrepreneur myself. Recently I ventured into poultry. So what I'll do, thank you. So this is my plan. We want to create a platform for the students to have their entrepreneurship. For me, it is not enough for students to have entrepreneurship week for only 5 days to sell their items. I believe that the students need more than that. We have the Dusa Park, which is idle there. We're going to make use of it so that the students, entrepreneurs can be given a chance to sell their items there. Also, I want to create maybe some 2 days. I want to liaise with the other members of the council. We create some 2 days, maybe we say Tuesday and Thursday. We call it Market Day for Daystar, for entrepreneurs to have a chance to sell their items there.
What challenges do you foresee with your position, and how do you plan on overcoming them?
Mostly, the challenges that I see there is there'll be conflict of interest, obviously. I think that will be the main challenge. There'll be conflict of interest between the administration and the students. And as a leader, what I will do in that area is to do everything. If there's a conflict of interest between the students and the administration, I will do everything that is within my means to solve the situation, because we cannot talk of a particular, there are many instances in which we have conflict of interest between the administration and the school, so we cannot talk of a particular instance. So for me, I will do everything within my means, within my power, to solve the issues between the students' administration.
What do you mean by everything within your power?
There are different instances. There are different instances and different issues. So we cannot talk of a specific issue unless you give me a specific incident whereby we...
Give us an example.
Okay, an example. Here's an example. For example, the issue of food in the dining hall. It's a very sensitive issue. It's been there for some time.
What's the issue?
Oh. Okay. Here's the issue. Bad food in the dining hall. Okay. The quality of food is not so good in the dining hall. I've had many students complain about it every now and then. So in such a case, maybe you find the students complaining that the quality of food is bad in the dining hall, and they are not so happy about it. So what I'm saying that I can do within my means, within my power, for example, in that instance, the best I can do is to go follow up and talk to those people in charge and to make sure that the food quality is good. Because if the food quality is bad, it just means that there's someone there who is incompetent, and they need to be more competent. So, this is what I'm saying when I mean within my means. For example, we have a company that's contracted to serve food in the dining hall. I don't have the power to remove the company, do I? I don't have the power, but what can I do? I can go there and force them and be tough on them so that the food quality can be okay.
Force does not solve anything, and when you mean there is an incompetent person there, you're not the one who hired them. They passed the checklist and they were seen fit to serve there. My question is, have you tested food from the dining hall to presume it's bad?
Yes, once in a while I do test food from the dining hall. And aside from testing food from the dining hall, it would be so selfish to just judge it from my perspective. If I've tested the food, I need to hear other students talk about it. So if other students talk about it, it means it's an issue there and it needs to be solved. It's not only about me testing it.
In line of what you're saying, could you kindly give us 2 or 3 concrete examples from your past as to how you have helped change the culture of any workplace that you've worked for or any place that you volunteered?
Okay, so when I was in high school, I was a class prefect in Form 1. So, this is the thing. So, there was an instance, the Form 1s were the ones who were supposed to wash the dining hall. So, it used to take a very long time, and the process was so disorganized. It used to take a very long time to wash the dining hall, about 2 hours, 3 hours. But when I was elected to be there as the class prefect, my class was the first class to do that within 30 minutes to 40 minutes. Wait, that's not the best part. Listen. Listen. There was normally a punishment for the class that did not do a good job for the previous week. So there's this particular week when the class that was behind me was supposed to do a punishment. It was supposed to continue washing the dining hall, but the cooks refused. They say, I want to work with Edgar because his class is the best.
15 seconds.
Thank you.
So Max, please be upstanding.
Do you have any specific programming ideas to progress and enhance life as a student at Daystar University?
If I do have a programming idea to enhance life at Daystar University, okay, I don't specifically have one, but to the programming, I have one specific thing that I usually do. It is something that came up after having been groomed in DC3 support group. I make sure that each and every day I find something in someone to appreciate. If it's your hair, I'll tell you that you look good.
I'll repeat the question.
Repeat the question, please.
Do you have any specific programming ideas to progress and enhance life as a student at Daystar University?
I do not have particular program.
Thank you. Next question.
Yes.
Okay, please tell us 5 core values and how do they shape how you lead?
Unity, 1, is my core value. This is drawn from the Bible, the Tower of Babel. And the unity that they demonstrated is far much above reproach. We understand from the biblical explanation that unity can do much. They united themselves and they built the longest tower, but then it came down crumbling because of the motive. And God saw it wise in unifying. We need to be united without necessarily having uniformity. We need to be united with respect to diversity. Therefore, unity is one of it. Secondly, I'm a collaborative leader. I believe that when we collaborate with the administration, we can achieve much more better. When we do not fight, when we create common understanding, when there is a common rope that ties us together, then we can go miles. Then the third one is that we need to understand each other based on different experiences that we have acquired. I might know something, you don't know it. According to Calvin Weyman, he says, we have different perception of what knowledge is. Your experience is not mine. Therefore, there needs to be understanding.
Please tell us the first 3 things you'll do once you're in office.
Okay, the first 3 things that I'll do once in office, it's after having collected reviews from the committee under which I work. Therefore, I'll make sure that there is correction and rectification of the food and the food quality that has been served and that it will be served thereafter. Then secondly, sports facilities that are yet to be given. Sports kits were to be given on the 25th of last month, but then according to the date 25, according to the recent information that I have, then it is clear that sports facilities with particularly kits have been delivered and they are yet to be given to the sportsmen. That is one thing that I am proud of. Then ease of relocation or allocation of hostels. There has been something that promotes thievery and thieving in hostels. When we don't have enough keys to hostels, so that we have 4 members in one particular hostel and we have 1 key, then it means one might go with the key, leave the door open, and then it promotes thieving and thievery. Theft is what we want to stop. Security is what we want to beef up. How can we do this? By allocating enough keys to these students. And then restoration of security within and outside Daystar University. I have a case basis. Could you kindly listen to this?
In 30 seconds or less.
Yes, thank you. I have a friend called Mati. It transpired one day when we were coming from Nairobi campus, and we heard from him that he was stolen from pardon me. Someone stole from him a laptop. He was stolen from, that is right English. Someone stole from him laptop and an iron box off campus. So what am I going to do to make sure that security is there? This is the criteria that I'm going to use. I will liaise with the security off campus, particularly the police, to make sure that they beef up security off campus and on campus so that students may be safeguarded and their security might be guaranteed. Thank you.
Thank you. One last question. What will you do to address the case of needy students?
Okay. Thank you for that. In response to that particular question, I have an initiative. And this particular initiative is called Elimisha Comrade Initiative. It extends far much above that. It is an extrapolation of student for students. It goes far much above what our able aspiring president did. This initiative works in this specific way. Students can chip in under associations. We have different associations that are from different departments in this particular institution. We have School of Law Association, we have Nursing Association that is yet to be born. And when students contribute to this particular kitty that is patronized by their dean under their executive, then it is a guarantee that students' needs will be met and the needy students will be living in a comfortable environment after having known that they are underprivileged in this particular society. Then again, I am privileged to work under the Kenya Pillars of Transformation. And I run an organization. I am the chairperson of iKenya organization. You can Google it. So working in close connection with the Kenya Pillars of Transformation, then we can foster...
Time.
We can foster a program.
Time is over.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'd like
Thank
to...
you.
Thank you, please have a seat.
Okay, let's appreciate the aspirants for the office of the campus secretary. Thank you so much. We're going to take exactly 5 questions from the audience. So if you have any question, kindly shoot your hand and we're gonna get the microphone to you. 5 questions, we have 1 already. 2, 3, let's start.
So in your manifesto, you talk about the student-to-student initiative, which is similar to the candidates' initiative. So you talk about how the students will be the ones donating. So what will you do in the case where we are unable to match the donations that are needed? Do you have a method for cushioning the students who still be in need?
That's a good question. First of all, I believe that I'm a student myself, and if you read it well, it's voluntary, meaning if you donate, you're not forced to donate. But what I didn't tell in my manifesto is that I'm working closely with companies who can fund us to help such students, and if you read my manifesto, I am not going to get in touch with that money with the students who are served. That money will be going straight to the chaplain, who will be assisting our students, and the chaplain will give the names to the counselor who can talk to our students, and what as governor will be receiving is a report on how much was contributed and how many students were assisted.
Please give us a criteria of how you'll select the students to receive the donations.
Exactly, that's a good question. As I repeat, I won't know the students because I'm human and I'm a student. I won't know this specific student was helped, example of Noel Shimba, but the chaplain will. So the chaplain is going to work with the counselors and know how they'll help these students. I'll only be getting a report which I'll share with the students on how the money was contributed and how many students were assisted.
So in the event that a student is not available to go for counseling, what happens?
In the event a student is not able to go for counseling, he or she can talk with the counselor and they can schedule a time where they are free to go to the counselor. And if not, again, it's voluntary. They don't have to go to the counselor for that service. For the counselor, it's voluntary too. If they feel like they don't have to go to the counselor, they only need the monetary funds, it's fine by me, as long as they're assisted and they get the accommodation, which can be offered in cash, shopping, or other forms like transport, which can be given to them.
Please tell us the budget you're working with to implement Students for Students.
Student for Students will be voluntary. They don't have a specific budget. It depends on how much the students themselves will contribute to assist other students, I included.
I'm asking the target you have.
I have the target of achieving 300 per student in every semester. This is like 100 per month.
All right, thank you.
What makes you so sure that students will go for counseling while we have DC3 here?
I'm the events manager of DC3 in Nairobi campus, and I'll tell you for a fact, Nairobi campus clubs and movements are not active. Nairobi campus students, I included, are not in those clubs themselves. Why? Because it's an issue of disinvolvement of students. I, as governor, will ensure that I talk to these students by going and talking to them where you should go. I'll give you an example. I'm a member of ISAC. I joined ISAC because I know that I stand to benefit from ISAC. And if I go to the students and tell them, this is the film club, and this is what you stand to benefit, I'm 100% sure they'll join, and together we'll achieve the goal of ensuring they grow their talents and skills in that club.
Please tell us the communication channels that you'll use to get to the students.
A communication channel is that I'll have committees and other students who will assist me to influence students. And as I walk through the Freedom Corner and talk to students, I myself will explain to them on why they should join these clubs and movements and why we need involvement in our campus.
Don't you think that is unrealistic, considering that is a choice for our students to make? The clubs and associations are still there, so what makes you so sure your ways will make them join and be active in activities in the clubs?
What makes me sure is that, as I repeat, I'm a student right now. And as a student, I talked for other students as I'm talking right now. So me getting to talk to them specifically and individually and ensuring they know the goals that they need to, on why they need to join these clubs, I'm sure they'll join, which again is voluntary. We don't have to have many. If I can only get 5 students to join the music club and they go for competition, if it's just a solo performance and one of them wins, then I've done my goal as a governor.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's take the next question. The next question, kindly.
Good afternoon, Daystar. My name is Ian Kira. My question goes to the Athi candidates, especially Edgar and Maxwell. Edgar, I heard you mentioning that you pay school fees for us. Where will this money come from? The students use a budget or your own pocket, because as Kenyans we are tired of leaders who are giving handouts. People will say giving handouts to all. We want sustainable goals. So what policies are you going to put in place for people to sit exams when we have student arrears in school arrears? Thank you. And then for us and all government aspirants in Africa, arrears have been put out of student representation when students live here, and nobody has talked about it. Who will help me collect signatures so that arrears return to Congress? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the question. Now, this is my plan. We have a Dusa budget, okay? We have a Dusa budget, and I believe if we work hand in hand with the treasurer, we can create a budget, and we can call it the Dusa bursary, from the Dusa budget, which can be used to pay for the students, as you have said. Of course, you're not going to pay for all students. Pardon?
When you say pay school fees for students, do you mean the full amount or you are supplementing?
No, not the full amount.
Okay.
Not the full amount. The school cannot be able to pay the school amount for the students. This is what I'm saying. What if, out of the Dusa budget, we create something called the Dusa bursary. And this Dusa bursary, in this Dusa bursary, we have our own students, leave alone those ones for the school. I understand that there are about 100 students doing work study for the school. What if we create our own work study as Dusa, and it is paid for from the Dusa budget? Okay? So that's what I'm talking about when I say clearing, assisting in school fees. I'm not saying paying off the school fees, assisting. Because those of us who have come from humble backgrounds know how much 1,000 shillings is worth, how much 2,000 shillings is worth. So I don't have to pay the whole amount, the whole 40,000 for you in a year. If I just pay 5,000 for you, there are those of us here who know how much that means to us. So I'm not talking about paying the full amount, okay, the voice? I'm talking about paying part of the fee, okay? And it is under work study. It's not just for free. Yeah.
So, thank you. Maxwell?
One thing about the residence part. I'm not sure about the residence part because it has not been explained well why the post was removed. I myself am not aware. What I was assuming is that, this is what I'm assuming. I'm assuming that it was because of balance in terms of Congress. We have 21 Congress members here in Athi River. Because you understand there were 2 schools that were added in Athi River. We have 18 in Virod. So I don't know what criteria the ISADO used, but whatever it is, I agree with you that we need residents to represent us in the Congress. So that was a genuine concern, but it is the ISADO to address that. Thank you.
Thank you. We can take the third question. Daisy. If you have any question, you can have 2 more after Daisy.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator. My name is Daisy Rono, and my questions go to Edgar. The way you're speaking, I doubt if you're well conversant with the budget, Dusa budget. This is because, first of all, the money is already not enough for what we have as student activities. So I doubt if you're speaking from a point of just pleasing because I don't think your idea is very realistic. Yes. Then two, this is a comment. I'm very scared that you are going for government and you are assuming about what's going on right now. You're supposed to be very aware.
Well,
Just
Okay.
before you respond, kindly remember the rules. You're not supposed to be reacting. You're not supposed to be reacting, otherwise you're going to be pointed out. So kindly let's cooperate and adhere to the rules. Go on.
okay. This what I'm going to repeat what Newton said here. I'm a student, okay, and listen. If we are talking about faith, then we have to act like, faith is the belief of things you can't see. So you cannot tell me. Listen. You can't tell me that the Dusa budget is not enough to cater for some students who have petty school fees. Someone being denied an exam card because of 500, and you're telling me that the Dusa budget we cannot have part of the Dusa budget to cater for that. Okay? So this is what we'll do. We'll liaise with the treasurer. Of course, there's a budget. In some instances, we'll have to, okay, this is the simple mathematics. Let's do it this way. For example, if we take like 500,000 Kenya shillings to be allocated towards Dusa bursary, then we have like 50 beneficiaries, each of them getting 10,000 from the Dusa bursary as they are doing work study. I think that is very realistic. You can't tell me that from the Dusa budget, we can't allocate funds to assist the students who are part of the school, part of those contributing to that budget.
I have a follow-up question.
Yes.
So in the event the Dusa budget is not enough, which techniques will you use to raise this 500,000?
I had also an idea. I wanted to bring up this idea. I wanted to name it 10 for Change Initiative. In this 10 for Change Initiative, this was my idea. At the end of the week, we have a pay bill number or we have a till number where the students themselves can chip in from as low as 10 shillings. And we have a kitty for catering for the students, especially those ones who are in need of finance. Yeah, so that's what I'm planning.
Sawa, thank you. Maxwell?
I am responding to a question raised by Agina about the arrays, and with that regard, I will use the house analogy. When you are constructing a house, you have pillars. You can change the roofing, you can change the walls, but then you ought not to change the identity of the house. You ought not to change the structure of the house. If the structure is rectangular, then so be it. You can change the roofing from asbestos to iron roofs. You can change everything, but not the pillars, so that it interferes with the identity. I am questioning an action by the ECD for removal of the RAs, resident assistance. It is stipulated well in the Constitution that it is Congress aspirants stroke hostels. What did you do to hostels? Who gave you the role to interpret the Constitution?
Maxwell, you are repeating the question. So
Yes.
please tell us what you'll do to address.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is what I'm saying. They were never given the role to interpret the Constitution. And the Constitution needs to be abided to fully, irrespective of who is carrying out the mandate. It is the mandate of the ECD to reinstate the RAs. And not until that is done, then we can deliberate on any other matter. You need to reinstate the RAs first, and then we can focus on how the RAs will beef
Maxwell,
up security.
our question is, how will you get that done? Not what needs to be done. In fact, we have a copy of the Constitution here. We understand what it means. How will you get that done?
You know, allow me to respond. And I'm struggling to understand why some of us are laughing. My hands are tied. When the ECD take up the role and take up all the powers to them and decide to remove the RAs, then my hands are tied. I cannot do anything. They ejected some of them. They ejected some of the aspirants. We appeal. Refused. I mean, my hands are tied. Should I fight them?
Thank you for that response.
Should I? Permit me more latitude, please. Permit me more latitude.
You're getting more defensive and you're not replying to the...
Let's remain in order, kindly.
You're not answering the question.
I will answer the question.
Let's have order, kindly. Maxwell.
We have...
Continue.
Thank you. We have an exemplary leader called Siam, the resident assistant of Athi River. She has done really good job, and therefore when you want to demean what she does to the point of eliminating that particular position, then it means you are not seeing the importance of RAs. Then ECD, my hands are tied. There is nothing I can do. And the only thing I can do is using this platform to tell them and force it into their minds that RAs need to be reinstated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's have two more questions. Two more questions. We can move to that side. We can have the microphone on that side. Yes.
Thank you. That's a good question. I believe all of us believe in something called progress, right? Before amphitheater was built, I believe they laid foundations, and then they built amphitheater. I'm starting this thing once I'm in office for the first next semester. And I don't aim that every student will contribute the 300. Maybe even the whole semester I'll only have raised 10,000. But have I raised something? Will that 10,000 help people? Then I've done my part. Maybe next semester, I'll try to gear up from 10,000 to 15, maybe 15 to 20. About the strategies, I come there. The strategies is that I believe voluntarily mean everybody is from his or her own heart to give the money. I will come to the students and I'll explain to them why we need to remove this money. From there, to be honest, this is not a business. I don't have to force them to remove. If they feel like they'll remove the money, they will. If they don't, then we'll work with what is contributed, and from there, that's what will help people. I'm not aiming this to be forced or strategic for them to remove. It's purely voluntarily for them to help.
Newton, I have a follow-up question.
Yes.
Have you identified the companies that you want to work with?
Yes, I'm a beneficiary of KCB Foundation, and as I come to there, part of my manifesto is about the business strategies, which are mentioned after one of our aspirants. I believe that running a business isn't just running. There are things that are called business plans and proposals that need to be taught. Once I'm governor, I believe in putting a seminar where people with businesses, and this will be very serious because you really have to prove that you have a business that you want to offer. They'll become and they'll be in a seminar where they'll be taught on how to run a business, how to write proposals. The KCB Foundation offers grants to people who have business proposals. I personally wrote a business plan, but I did not know how to write one well. I wasn't given any grant. But I believe that there's a student who knows how to write a good business plan. And once they do that, maybe they'll be offered that grant. What will I do as governor? I'll open something called a student trading center, which maybe can be running on...
Kindly finalize because of time.
On every Thursday or once a month, where students can sell their things once they have been taught on how to run a business. And who knows, maybe they can be taken by the KCB and be one of the beneficiaries.
Please give us 2 other companies.
Pardon?
Please give us 2 other companies.
I'm working with KCB and I'm working with Exodus Recruitment Agency.
Apart from KCB, 2 other companies.
Exodus Recruitment Agency, and one of our students told me they can have links with Safaricom, who can come and also sponsor our open mic sessions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's have the last question from that extreme end. Kindly come closer to the microphone. Allow me, that's going to be the last question in this section. As she comes, the aspirants for the office of the Treasury, you're going to be next. Kindly prepare.
Hi, I'm Veda, and my question goes to all governor aspirants. It's like all of you are talking about choosing the committees. What is your criteria, and how are you going to choose these people who are going to work with you in the committees?
Okay, thank you very much. That is a very nice question. We have the Congress. The Congress are the first people we should, the Congress who are chosen by the comrades to represent them in their different schools. Those are the people we'll use them in the committees. We'll not go outside, yet we have potential leaders within us. Yes, thank you very much.
My committees will involve 2 Congress members and a student. Thank you.
The committees comprise of different departments. We have the committees like food and health. We will also have like schools represented, where we can have even a student from the nursing school to be in the food and health department to aid in the health terms. Then also school-wise, according to maybe your career.
That's going to be the final response because of time.
Yeah, my committees will involve the elected Congress members.
Please come closer to the mic.
My committee will involve the elected Congress members, and of course, there will be a number of Congress members who will not make it to the final elected Congress members who have the skills and can take part in the committees also.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. There's one more question on that end, and that's going to be the last question. Next, you're going to be have the Treasury. If you are an aspirant for that office, kindly prepare. Let's have the last question, and then we're going to move to the next session.
Thank you. My question is supposed to go to all the governors, gubernatorial aspirants, if at all they know the provisions of the Constitution on matters House standing committees. There was an issue with the current government where committees had been appointed in some village manner. I'm also a village boy. So mine is also to encourage them to follow the Constitution in appointing of their committees. And also in the issue of arrays, it is clearly stated. And the excuse for the arrays was that there needed to be a balance between the 2 campuses. But then in answering that, I think we need to be progressive in our reasoning. This is because come next year, there'll be no School of Nursing and the School of Law in Valley Road. How are we going to strike the balance? It is not our mistake as at the river to have hostels.
Kindly, sir, please
we
ask
didn't
the
choose.
question.
So, RS should be reinstated And ECD must consider that. Your work is to follow the Constitution and not to create your own laws.
Please ask
Thank you.
the question. Okay.
Good afternoon, guys. My name is Bo Bedi, Valley Road Campus. I don't have a question, I have a complaint. To the chairing, to the motion passes. If you give us 5 minutes to ask questions, it's not your job to follow up questions. There are students asking questions. Let them follow up on the questions.
Thank you, thank you. The aspirants, please kindly take your seat. Take your seat. Let's have the secretary, the treasurers rather. Appreciate them as they take their seat. The next debate is going to be for the Treasury Office. The Treasury Office, kindly take your seats on stage. At this juncture, I want to welcome the moderators. They're going to take it from there. Karibu.
Kindly step forward and introduce yourself.
Good day, everyone. My name is Alexander Chaga, and I'm upcoming financial risk expert, that is actuarial, and a trustworthy leader.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kevin Kariuki from Valley Road Campus, and I'm vying for the Finance Secretary, alias Treasurer.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sylvia Munyao, representing the School of Business. I am pursuing commerce, and I am aspiring to be the treasurer. Happy to be here. Thank you.
A question to you all. The treasurer seat has been vacant for the last 7 months. How do you plan on filling that gap?
Okay, thank you for that question. So about the treasury seat being vacant, I'm sure that everyone is aware of what was lacking in that seat. And as to one of the reasons as to why I wanted to vie for this seat is because I saw a gap that needed to be filled. There was lack of accessibility. There was no accountability, no transparency. And that is what I'm bringing to the table, alongside the accounting skills that I have, to ensure that that docket is well executed.
Sylvia, how do you plan on achieving that?
First of all, being a treasurer is basically being a student leader. And the aim of being a student leader is to ensure that students' interests are put first, not mine. Yes, I am a student, but I am here to represent the students. How I plan on achieving that is, one, fulfilling my role as a treasurer, basically, which is ensuring that the budget has been clearly stipulated, presenting it to the Congress for approval, ensuring that I, alongside the other council members, execute the student budget financial activity. And besides doing the roles of a treasurer, I plan to be more of a friendly leader. I want to be able to be there for students, not just within my docket, but being able to be there for students, create programs to help students understand basic financial activities and gain knowledge, as well as see how we can work with the other council members to promote a program that can help assist other students with different financial needs. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So as you've heard, what happened to the office of the treasurer has been a disgrace. The previous treasurer, unfortunately, abandoned the position, abandoned her responsibilities.
Please move forward to the mic.
Yeah, thank you. Abandoned her responsibilities, which eventually led to the Students' Association being crippled. Sports teams do not have the budget that they need. Clubs have not been financed. So all these issues that came through have had strong ripple effects in other areas in the university. So if I am able to get this position, the first thing that I want to ensure that happens is that the Dusa budget will be done on time. It will be done on time, it will be done properly. I believe that I have the necessary skills to prepare the budget, to prepare the monthly statements, and liaise with the rest of the members in the council who you will give me to work with in order to create a budget that is focused on ensuring student activities are financed and that there are no gaps or leaks in the, and we need to carry ourselves in a way that shows that. So we have to ensure that things such as the budget are done on time, the monthly statements are produced, and that everything that needs to be done, there is a committee, the Audit and Risk Committee, that will ensure that all the amount that is spent by the council is accounted for, and that the budget is accounted for. It will explain to the students and show this money was set aside for this activity, this much was spent, and then this much was left, and that it will give students faith and confidence in the council and the student leadership of this university, that there is true, dependable leadership available here.
All right, thank you. Next candidate.
In regards to that question, I've actually been in the Congress and I'm in the know of what has been happening. And as a treasurer, I plan to be rational in my thinking and independent in such a way that you're not influenced by people's interests, but you're influenced by the students' interests, what they want. And of course, as a treasurer, what I plan to do differently, I cannot be the one forming my audit committee to audit me. Let the Congress decide who to go and audit Achaga. And I plan to be inclusive in the making of the budget. Let it be to the standard of the student needs and the student population. Yeah.
What if the Congress chooses the audit committee based on their friends and popularity and their interests? How will you go about that?
I would recommend that in the choosing of the audit committee, an independent committee formed by the speaker should be formed in order to vet the potential people to be in that committee. And they should be in a way that maybe they're from doing courses related to that skill in auditing and accounts. Yeah.
The next question to all of you is, how will you ensure that your personal interest and you delivering to students will not get in the way?
Personal interest and the interests of the students. I obviously, for the idea that in the making of the Dusa budget, I should be independent and consider the needs of the students. And also, when the people are auditing me, the audit committee is auditing me to ensure that my expenditure as a treasurer in all the events of the Dusa activities are put into account, and obviously I will expect that at the end of every month or maybe a quarterly of this throughout the semester, a report is published maybe in the InfoSpot or maybe through the Dusa emails to ensure accountability in all aspects. And in that way, I'll be encouraged as a treasurer to serve the interests of the students and not mine.
All right, thank you. Next candidate.
Yes, so in finance, sometimes issues of conflict of interest and personal greed come in. And how this will be remedied is by ensuring that the audit committee is functioning properly. I have personally already talked to my competitors, and I have assured them, if I do get to that seat, they will be the ones that I appoint to the audit and risk committee so that they can audit me and they can ensure that whatever is being put down is correct, is verifiable, because they're not my supporters. I think everybody can attest to that, right? So they would not be there to support me or be a sycophant of me. They would be there to call out things if there are any issues and to say what is true. Secondly, I will ensure that a monthly statement is sent out to all students to the email to show them how their finances are being spent, to let them know exactly what has been put in where it is going, so that, for example, if you're in a sports team that's not receiving money, or you're not receiving kits, or you're not receiving water or other things that you need, you know exactly how much budget has been accounted for that, and you can come and ask me personally, ask me how come this much money was put in here, we're not seeing it on the ground, what's going on? Thank you.
I'd like to know, that's a very good opening statement, but which model of evaluation will you use to say this amount goes here, this amount goes there?
Okay. That will be done through deliberation with the other members of the council, as well as with other students, depending on the current needs of the school. Also, I will liaise with my Congress, I will talk to them, and together, through a consultative process, we will be able to create a budget that is, that even through compromise, we can create a budget that serves the needs of the majority of the students.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so how will I be able to ensure that my self-interest does not affect my work as a treasurer? First of all, I go by the word, the Bible, and I do not conform to compromise when it comes to things related with finances. That is me as a person. I believe in myself that much. And also, I have values that I stand by in terms of honesty and transparency, which I'd say they're my disciplines. So with that, I'll be able to ensure that I am on course to do whatever it is that is required of me. Yes.
I'd like to pose to you the same question. So which model of evaluation will you use to say this amount goes here, this amount goes there?
Okay, for anyone who has ever done accounting, there has to be record keeping of how money was spent in the previous years for the various events or programs that take place. So that is the number one consideration. I'd have to see, okay, this is the record of how things were done last semester. This is a record of how things were done 5 years ago. Another thing is research. Considering some of these programs or other events that the school indulges itself in are not within the campus, you'd have to do extensive research to know which places would I require much finances, and would it be really suitable for me to spend this much? If I allocate this much to this kind of program, will it be enough? Will it be too much? So also doing extensive research is important.
All right, thank you. I have a question for all candidates. So maybe Achaga, please step forward. Someone raised something in the audience here where they said sometimes the Dusa budget is not enough, right? Yeah. So in the event that happens, please tell us some of the fundraising techniques that you'll use to ensure these finances are enough.
When it comes to raising money, we have to come up with lucrative ways as the Dusa on how to collect revenue in the resources that we have. Like for example, we have like Edgar said about the Dusa Park, we can put it into use whereby we have activities that are happening there, and part of the revenue is collected and is able to supplement the Dusa budget. We have the canteen, like the one that's there, we can put it into to be functional, to serve the interests of the people who are self-catering, like whereby you have things like unga and everything like that. And when people are supplying to that canteen, we're able to get revenue because they are benefiting in a way, and also as students, we are also benefiting. Yeah.
One of the ways that I will use in order to fundraise, because in the budget, there are constraints. The money is not enough, and that is the nature of every single budget that is there. So what I will do is that I will approach other organizations to work with our sports teams, to work with our clubs, to partner with students in order for them to mitigate some of the costs that we have at Dusa. Also, there is a student canteen that should be run by Dusa, and some of that revenue can be used to supplement the budget that can be used in formation of the Dusa budget.
Okay, how would I raise funds to supplement the shortage that comes with the budget that we're given? So I'd say the way that these funds can be raised is normally, in most of the events that we have attended or been part of, you'd find that for some we do attend freely, like the SOIA that we had at the weekend. But for example, like FOCA, us students had to, give a certain amount. So I believe like students should be able to, sacrifice, or rather be in a position to, give that amount that, and as we plan to, ask you to maybe pay for this amount to come for this event, we consider, you're a student, you're a comrade, and through ensuring that the events or programs that we organize, if there is a shortage of money, then we would charge a fee that is, complacent with the student's budget. Thank you.
Final question to all candidates. One of the rules you have, as per the Constitution, is you need to submit an approved budget to the Congress for another final verification or approval, right? In the case where Congress does not approve of this, yet it is the right budget, how will you go about it? I can start with you, Sylvia.
Okay, in a case where the Congress does not approve of the budget that the treasurer has drafted, then that means going back to the drawing board and seeing, is it because I've allocated money, too much money, or is it less money? And going back, doing and seeing if there's anything wrong with what I've drafted, going back and trying to negotiate with them and explain to them, this is how I've located the money because of these reasons. And it's more of getting them to understand that this is how the budget has been drafted.
Yes, so I believe in the case where there is a disagreement between myself as a treasurer and the Congress, we will try and negotiate and liaise and find ways in which we can work together. However, the process of finding the right Congress starts from you as a students, which I believe the majority of you are. So you as a students need to select a Congress or elect a Congress that is going to be reasonable, that is going to be willing to work with others, that is not going to try to find conflict where there is none. Because when conflict comes in the student leadership, it's the students who suffer. I am a little worried sometimes when I hear somebody saying that if the Dusa budget is not sufficient, then students will be asked to pay for it through events. Now ask yourself a question as a student. Do you want to pay more than you're already paying right now? I mean, do you want to pay more for events? The events should be free anyway, right? I mean, as a Daystar student, the bus should be free, shouldn't we? So those are the critical questions I'm asking you to ask yourselves as you elect your Congress on Wednesday. And finally, as you speak to them, talk to them about the kind of leadership you also want them to elect to the council. Because the choices that they make will finally affect you at the end, and even as far as your pocket. Thank you.
In the issue of budget, of course, one of the reasons that the Congress might fail to approve the budget is maybe because their proposed budget is not involved in the actual Dusa budget. And to avert that crisis, of course, as a treasurer, I will include the speaker in when the council is forming the budget, so that come up with a rational budget that is able to include each and every activity that will be acceptable in the Congress and will serve the needs of the students. Yeah.
All right, thank you. I think we'll invite questions from the crowd. So Aaron, please take it away.
Yes, and kindly as you ask your questions, you can move closer to this microphone. Let's up Ian, that's the only hand that I can see. If you have any question, please make sure you shoot it up in the air so that I can see it clearly. Then please make sure it's a question. Make sure you're asking a question, not a comment.
Thank you very much. Yes, it's a question. I did English, 098. So 111 actually. My question is to Achaga, since you have said you are in Congress. Two very good questions, because you clearly look smart and like you deserve the job, but two questions. One, during these harsh economic times, where it's a bit difficult to survive in the country, you're telling me guys are going to be chased in town by kanjos, then come to Daystar, then Dusa, under your Dusa leadership, in case you get in, be taxed as businessmen and women. Yet the reason why they're hustling in the first place is to put money in their pockets. Then, number two, keeping in mind that Treasury is a very, very sensitive job, and the fact that you're in Congress. You've served in Congress in 2021-2022 era. So I'll ask you, as a congressman, do you think, in your opinion, that there was voter bribery among your Congress members when electing the current Dusa government? Your answer will determine whether these people trust you with their money. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ian. It's actually a matter of concern, but personally, I can speak on my behalf. Personally, I can say that I voted to the interest of the students, and I was not bribed. But there were allegations of people being bribed in order to favor a certain candidate. That is true. Second question.
Taxes.
Yeah. About the taxes, I was actually for the idea that 10% of the revenue that you collect as Dusa government, it should be dedicated towards serving the needs of the needy students, whereby if somebody has issues with finance when it comes to doing exams, you can, as Dusa, we can help them through the revenue that you have collected in paying that fees. It will be to the help of needy students. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other question from the audience? Any other question? Kindly.
Hi. Hello, Daystar. I have a question to Alexander. So, good evening, Daystar. I have a question to Alexander. We have issues in the financial department, like increase in graduation fees and also the penalty of defaulting and installment. So I'd ask him which impact or how will he help us when he get to that seat? Yeah, that's my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that question. I can say as universities, we have the privilege of having a legislation body, that is the Congress, and part of the Congress is to pass policies like financial policies, and we need to review policies like that whereby students are being fined 2,000 for maybe how can I put it? Defaultment fee. But when it comes to graduation, I want to act as a link between the student body and the finance department. The graduation fee was increased, yes, but what is the breakdown of that graduation fee? Students need to be put in the know of what this increment entails, and I want to act as a link between the students and the finance department in advocating for such issues. Yeah.
Thank you. Do you have any more question? Just one last question, kindly.
Okay, hi guys. Okay, I have a question to Mr. Kelvin. I heard him say that when the DUSA runs out of budget, it is the students who will pay for it. So I have a question concerning the ISADO dinner. Does this mean that the DUSA kind of ran out of budget? Now it is the students who are going to pay for the, like, how can it be 3,000? I thought that maybe they were international students, so we were paying so much for it, but I'm understanding right now that it is the students who are paying for it because the DUSA has run out of budget. Is that so?
Okay, thank you for your question, and that's a very important question. I am not the one who said that students will pay when the budget runs out. I say the opposite. Students will never pay for the budget. My competitors have said that they will make students pay for the budget. I mean, you have even had someone else propose that they are going to tax businesses in the school. Can you imagine yourself trying to save up money to pay tax for DUSA? I mean, personally, my position is this. Any amount that is charged to students must be explained. It must be clear and justified. If there's going to be an increase of any fee of anything, it must be justified. Why? I do not believe the students who are trying to build their future should be the ones financing the university after also paying their fee. I don't believe that at all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I would like to request the aspirants to kindly take their seats, and we're going to have the ISADO are the aspirants for the ISADO. Kindly take the stage as the treasury aspirants take off. ISADO, kindly. And then after ISADO, we are going to have the Secretary General aspirants. After ISADO, we're going to have the Secretary General aspirants. The moderators kindly take over.
Kindly step forward and introduce yourselves.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Steve Kashosi, a third-year student in the School of Science and Social Studies, and I'm vying for the position of ISADO President.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Meshach Mambira Methos.